You're listening to the New York Sports Show, the #1 all New York sports podcast. Hosted by Dominic Konareski.
Hello and welcome to the New York Sports Show, your #1 all New York sports podcast. I'm your host, Dominic Konareski. Well, folks, the New York Yankees, hell of a very disbobulated, disgruntled, if that's even a word, season is finally over. And with that said, they're on a very, very disturbing trend as they lose in the American League wildcard game against the Boston Red Sox 6-2. An absolute blowout loss for them, blowout win for rivals Boston Red Sox at Fenway Park, the park that the New York Yankees swept the same team just, a week before. Frankly, unbelievable. You have Garrett Cole on the mound, the ace that you're paying $300+ million to, and he couldn't even go 5 innings. So with that said, change has to happen in this offseason. I think we can all agree on this. Now, the trend I'm talking about is that the New York Yankees are getting closer and closer to not even making the playoffs. They lost the wild card this year. Last year, they lost in the ALDS. The year before that, they lost in the ALCS. You see that trend? ALCS, ALDS, wild card, boom. What's after wild card? You're just not making the playoffs. The Yankees got to get something fixed. So with that said, here are the top 5 things the New York Yankees have to do this MLB offseason. Subscribe if you like the vibe. Let's get into things. The 5th thing has to be getting rid of Joey Gallo. Joey Gallo came to New York via trade with the Texas Rangers right before the trade deadline ended, played 58 games with the team. That is a total of 228 plate appearances, total of 188 at-bats. Joey Gallo only got 30 hits in those 188 at-bats. I gotta say, though, 13 of them were homers, though. He was almost 50 for 50 when it came to home runs to hits, which I think is good. But the fact is, this is the guy that struck out a lot, and he walked over 30 times, too, I should add. So Joey Gallo was getting on base somewhat, but the fact was, he was not clutch at all with the New York Yankees, and he's not consistent. Yankees got him because he's a lefty, because the Yankees had no lefties. But the fact is, Joey Gallo is a defensive player, 100% gold glove winner, yearly contender. The Yankees don't need that. The Yankees have great defense. What they need is hits. What they need is batters. Joey Gallo is not that. Yankees gotta trade Joey Gallo off this season, probably to a team that's somewhat rebuilding, because we all know that a team like, let's say, the Baltimore Orioles, they would gladly want Joey Gallo. Of course, that won't happen because it's in the same division, but you guys know what I mean on that. A rebuilding team, a team that could give the Yankees a good amount back when it comes to prospects or somewhat underrated players, because that's what the Yankees need. Number 4, another player, Gary Sanchez. Gary Sanchez is a horrible catcher. He allows people to score way too easily, makes no effort whatsoever, and this guy cannot hit the ball. And when he does hit the ball, he puts no hustle in whatsoever. I'm going to keep this part short. Fact is, Gary Sanchez, he's not a New York Yankees player. He puts no effort in whatsoever, and yet we continue to give him that much money when you have Kyle Higashioka, who sat via bench most of the season. But the fact was, though, Kyle Higashioka, when he had to come through for the team, he did, and he's an amazing catcher. Yankees 100% should promote him to starter. Either trade Gary Sanchez off or make him the second string catcher, one of those two. But the fact is, Gary Sanchez should not be the starting catcher this upcoming season in 2022. Okay, the 3rd thing. Get rid of Aaron Boone. Aaron Boone has done nothing for the New York Yankees, I gotta say. And the whole reason, I gotta say, the only one positive thing that Aaron Boone has done for New York is when he got injured, which involved the New York Yankees trading for Alex Rodriguez. Aaron Boone is literally the reason why A-Rod ever became a New York Yankee, because I think he broke his ankle or something playing a game of pickup basketball. Aaron Boone has been a failure for the Yankees since day one. And people gotta realize that, yes, 2 100-win seasons. Where's the World Series ring? Nope. Last season, struggled in the 60-game shortened season. This year, Yankees really even made the playoffs. He does not take accountability. You could have a pitcher go out there, allow 6 home runs in 1 inning, and it would just say, oh, he had a bad game. That's more than a bad game. The Yankees need a manager that takes responsibility. But Yankee fans got to get it through their mind. The New York Yankees are not going to get Don Mattingly. They're not. The New York Yankees are not going to get a lot of the top managers. Get a guy like David Cone in the manager slot. The fact is, the New York Yankees need a manager that will actually make this team lively instead of making excuses for them around every damn corner. It's frankly sickening. You know, there's this difference of there's never going to be a manager, no matter how much you pay them, no matter how good they are, on if they're just going to win every single game or perform amazingly every single game. But the fact is, Boone has had this team for a while now, and he does a lot of questionable moves. If you're batting, you want to bat in the top 4, all you have to do is be in a huge slump. You want to come in relief, all you have to do is have an ERA above 8 your last 2 games. And you know what? Boone will bring you right in when the bullpen is full of a bunch of other, and a lot of other better, great relievers. Boone has to go, and I cannot stress that enough. Number 2, this should not come as a surprise. Let's be honest. The New York Yankees have to get rid of Brian Cashman. I'm sick of hearing how much of a Hall of Famer GM Brian Cashman is. He's not. He's had this team since the late 90s. The last World Series came in 2009. The New York Yankees have a payroll above $1 billion since 2009. How many World Series rings have they had? 0. They haven't even been to the World Series since 2009. That right there is a joke. The New York Yankees have had so much talent go through their farm system and through the major leagues, and you know what? They do nothing with it. Brian Cashman, yes, he has pulled off some good trades for the Yankees, but what has he actually done to give the Yankees a true amount of success? Let's all sit and think. I can't name you one thing. The New York Yankees are an embarrassment of a team. You have all this money, you have all this talent on your team, but yet you have an incompetent GM that for some reason everyone praises. Brian Cashman's not a good GM. And I haven't always hated on Cashman, I gotta say, but over the past, I would say, season and a half, it's really come to show a lot of his flaws. Fact is, the New York Yankees need change. Brian Cashman has been the GM since the late 90s, like I said, and the Yankees just haven't above a 500 record since then. I'm going to make a whole nother video on that. Stay tuned for that right there. But 100% Yankees should fire General Manager Brian Cashman. Number 1, now this could be debatable. Get rid of Marcus Thames. Marcus Thames is the most incompetent hitting coach I ever seen. The New York Yankees batters have been through more slumps than I've been through happiness and depression watching the Yankee games, because there was a lot of that. But the fact is, Marcus Thames has to go. He really does. The Yankees need a hitting coach that actually knows how to direct people to hit the ball. The amount of double plays that the Yankees hit into this season and the amount of flyouts is frankly laughable. And you know what? It is laughable. Let me know what you guys think about this list. I'm Dominic Konowski, and I'm signing out. Peace.